I could not wait for this one. Boy, do I love me some Guy Ritchie. And I know that The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is an adaptation, and he's done it before with adaptations like Sherlock Holmes. But when I mention Guy Ritchie, it's the English gangster flicks that I'm talking about. Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, RocknRolla, that's the real Guy Ritchie. Notice no one ever says swept away. And within these movies, it's all about the nickname. Barry the Baptist, Frankie Four Fingers, Soap, Bacon, Mumbles, 1-2. The name makes the man. Luckily here on Real School, I'll stop the accent. Luckily here on Real School, we've got the finest computer technology that can generate a Guy Ritchie nickname just for me. Okay, I'll just input my information here. Height, 6'2", weight, never you mind, and it'll probably give me an awesome nickname like Professor Hollywood or Mike the Machine. Oh. Huh. You know, that's so accurate, it's almost scary. Speaking of scary, Armie Hammer is acting again. That's right, don't forget to try Armie Hammer brand baking soda, where good looking is good enough. Speaking of good looking, Henry Cavill is acting again, and finally people will know him for something other than Man of Steel. So, here we are, Superman and baking soda, facing off in the feature film version of a beloved 60s spy show. Okay, I don't know about beloved, but my mom sure liked it. Okay, so you've got a great canon of stories, two character actors who have made huge blockbusters, and one of the greatest 21st century auteurs at the helm. But the one thing that I really want to talk about is the accents. You have a Swede playing a German, an Australian playing an Italian, a Brit playing an American, another Brit playing his version of what he thinks Americans sound like, and Armie the American doing his best impression of Boris from Rocky and Bullwinkle. Okay, so if you don't make fun of my accent at the beginning, I won't make fun of baking soda or Jared Harris. We go to see Guy Ritchie films for one reason: the style. Guy Ritchie films are slick, dangerous, humorous, energetic, and undeniably masculine. And while most of these elements were apparent in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., there seemed to be other influences in Ritchie's style. When the opening credits were rolling, I turned to my friend and said, did we accidentally walk into Ocean's 14? Because it almost immediately screamed Steven Soderbergh. It wasn't until later when researching this film that I discovered that Soderbergh was originally attached to direct. That could be coincidence, or Soderbergh actually did influence the film before exiting, but then, only mere moments later, I felt I was watching a Tarantino film. Now that's probably a coincidence, as Soderbergh and Tarantino don't really make similar films. However, while the subject matter and dialogue could not be more drastically different, the influence is not. Tarantino and Soderbergh are huge cinephiles. They love old 60s and 70s films. They love European filmmaking, and they bring those influences into their own work. Now, I'm not saying that Guy Ritchie shouldn't have done that with The Man from U.N.C.L.E. It fits. It's just that so far it's something that's so thoroughly un-Ritchie-esque. So good for him. He's trying new things. That he did. But the flip side to this, trying new techniques, is that some of these new techniques didn't work as well as they could or should have. For instance, Guy Ritchie co-wrote the script with screenwriter Lionel Wigram, and within that script they used a technique that screenwriters use to reveal a tiny twist. You know in an Ocean's movie where you see the heist, and then at the end of the film you see the heist once again, but from a different perspective, and so you reveal more information that you didn't see the first time. When the audience gets this new perspective, they're supposed to have an epiphany, and oh, I get it kind of moment. But the way that Wigram and Ritchie use this, the way they re-show from a different perspective, you feel that it was already strongly implied, or that you've already seen it. Now you'd think that that would be a real waste of time, but ironically enough, another technique that Ritchie used saved a little time. With a typical spy thriller, you really just go through the motions, especially with the action sequences, and 9 times out of 10 you know exactly what to expect. But the way that Ritchie shoots The Man from U.N.C.L.E., especially the action sequences, is often he doesn't give you what you expect, and sometimes you get this very creative throwback 60s montage style. Compared to other 60s spy franchises like Bond or Mission Impossible, it may not be what you expect. But that's only in terms of the action. The look of the film is brilliant. The costumes, the cars, it all fits. It's that aforementioned slick Ritchie style. It really helped to create a tone. But it was a different kind of tone that really stuck out. Daniel Pemberton composed an amazing score. It was hip, it was slick, it was sexy, and you pair that with hand-picked groovy 60s classics, and it suddenly becomes an amazing soundtrack that you must download immediately. It really adds to the film, and it's The Man from U.N.C.L.E.'s for the win. Did I just say hip and groovy in the same segment? God, how old am I? The strongest argument against this film is that it's really style over substance, and the substance within it is really not all that memorable. Luckily, everyone involved in this movie seems to be on the same page. Cavill and Hammer's performance border on caricature, but in fact, they do have some good chemistry and pull it off throughout most of the film. That's clearly important because they're the main two characters. Ritchie does the rest. He creates some clever moments, some humorous moments, and some genuinely tense moments. It may not be his best film, but it is, and earn it. Poll question, what is your favorite movie soundtrack? As always, leave your answers in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe to Real School, follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link, and you can become a Real School patron. But until next time, school's out.